welcome to part 2 of my May reading log. I'm KaguraFireCosplay here to bring that to you. That's the weirdest intro I've ever done. But, this is my 3rd time filming today, so give me a little bit of credit. I'm back with my Little Mermaid peach tea. I have my Gwen ears that I had to, fight for a little bit. They showed up in parks literally like 4 days after I was there, and I was so mad I had to wait until they got on Shop Disney, but they're here. So I'll continue from where I left off on part 1. We're talking about Volume 4 of Lovesick Ellie. Yeah, there's a lot of Lovesick Ellie here, and it's all good. But Lovesick Ellie is by Fujimomo. I read this May 16th. And it's a reread, but I've talked about the overall plot of the series, so it's just continuing off of that. You have Ellie getting out there and trying to make new friends and try and continue new relationships. You have a new kid in class that starts trying to be friends with her and get her out for comfort zone a little bit. Omi's generally a lot happier in this book, and that's really cute to see. And then you also have some Christmas scenes in this book that are really sweet. I love the Christmas scenes in this series. And that is Lovesick Ellie Volume 4. A book I do not have anymore is Deliverance by Dickey. I read this from May 8th to May 10th. This book was, woo! So I read this because we were getting rid of it from my family's library. So I'll, and we'll see this a few times, I'll read this before I get rid of it, just so I can review it for you guys. I did not continue doing this after a certain point because they're generally really bad books. This book was terrible. I can understand for its time why I can't. It's just bad. It's a classic for the fact that it's old. Pretty much. The writing style is absolutely bizarre. It just feels really perverted. Like some of the things said, just really bizarre. Like, you can probably Google Deliverance weird quotes, and there'll probably be plenty that come up that will just be like, someone wrote this and then submitted it to be published, and then editors who read it, and then it was published, and then you had readers who read it, and somehow this book's famous. I don't know. Really weird descriptions and stuff, and that can sometimes be funny, but it's not supposed to be a funny book, so I don't know. It's during the Cold War era of things. And then pretty much this book's about a bunch of dudes who float down a river and bad stuff happens. That's the easiest way to put it. Bad and weird stuff happens. Oh, I wrote down one descriptive term of milkiness to describe the river. The milkiness of the river, I don't know what that means. That's not a word that people use to describe a river, but okay. And there's also disrespecting a lot of the characters' deaths towards the end of it too. I'm like, don't know what's the point if this is the way that the story's gonna go. That's just really bad. I mean, you also have really weird instances of rape and killing people, and it's just thrown in there for I'm not sure why. And it's just terrible. The story sucks, the writing sucks, and then it ends sucky, and then you're just left feeling sucky. So, there you go. My review on Deliverance. Not for me. And then we have another book that I read because we were getting rid of it. Now, this book was not near as bad, but it also was not good. And that was Stone Cold Blackout by PJ Nakfoor. And I read this May 10th to May 11th. Now this is about a young woman who was kind of involved with a death, and that kind of haunting her. And then, well, I should replay. She did not cause any type of death, but she was the doctor on scene and was not able to save someone. And then you also have some bad things starting to happen to her, and then it's supposed to be a mystery, but if you have 3 brain cells, you can figure it out before then. Because it was... I have faith that anyone watching this video could have figured it out. But the writing and sentence structure was not great. It wasn't in the sense of Deliverance, where it's really weird. It just felt like it's someone who wasn't as comfortable writing. It wasn't very eloquent, I guess you could say. It has a pretty rough start, kind of giving like Monster, the anime manga kind of vibes, and then it just kind of derails from that because Monster is amazing. And then a lot of nothing happens for a while until you get like halfway through the book, and then you start getting more into the mystery. You have some more odd descriptions of who knows what. You have a false accusation of rape, which this book was not old. Why are we doing this? For nothing. Because that plot point didn't really go anywhere. There's like no motive anywhere, and then it ends fairly abruptly. Like there's no real conclusion. Stuff happens, finale happens, and then it was done. No. What happens next? So it was definitely more interesting than something like Deliverance, but not worth time in any such way. Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of tea break because that was a lot of ranting. Again, can we talk about this book? It's so brave. Next book we have, I get to not trash, because it's Lovesick Ellie Volume 5, still by Fujimomo, read this May 17th. Again, all rereads, because I've already read this whole series. But, again, continuing the same story as before. You have Omi's cousin show up, you have Omi's dedication to Ellie, and how, even though not great stuff's happening, he stays by her side. You have him seeing her true worth and making sure she knows that. And then you also have Ellie gain a sketchy friend in this. He's not sketchy, I love him, but he's sketchy at first, for sure. Then we have Lovesick Ellie Volume 6. And unfortunately, this is all I currently own, so you won't get more Lovesick Ellie for a little while until I can pick up the rest, but... Oh, listen. Again, Fujimomo from May 18th, and continuing the plot. You have iconic quotes like, "I won't settle for anyone else." You have secrets and some misunderstandings with Ellie and Misaki, which is not great, but they work through it. You have Misaki giving her some pretty great female advice later on, and then Omi is just iconic and great in this book as well. The next book I read was See You Tomorrow at the Food Court by Shinchiro Nariie from May 19th to May 23. This book is a one-shot of 2 very different girls who come together to eat lunch every day despite their differences. Because they both kind of don't have friends, but they still talk to each other. It's just really cute. They're both very much rejected by their school and by society. So they end up valuing their time a lot together, where they kind of border being friends and being strangers, but the more they talk to each other in this book, the more they get to know each other, the more they really submit true friendship. And have them like asking each other existential questions. There's a lot of fun comedy in this as these different aspects of these characters come out. You have, I mean, it just really covers the relationship of how two strangers who are completely different can still be friends and grow and learn from each other. And it's just really cute. I mean, again, it's a one-shot. That's definitely worth your time if you want a super cute one-shot. Cute. We're gonna take some more tea breaks because, woo! I should actually drink it properly. Okay, so I read Volume 1 of Rurouni Kenshin by, you know, I'm not even going to give this author the justice of saying his name. Now, I got these pre-owned before all of the police stuff came out about this author. And I enjoy the show, but watch the show. Because the show is really good. The story is good. But all of the sketchy stuff of why we do not speak of this author does show up in the manga. It's pretty clear. Like, I love Kaoru, but it's sketchy, for sure. And it makes everything feel icky when you're reading it. So I had 2 volumes of this that I got used. So I'll talk about those 2 volumes. They're also no longer in my possession. Let's just say that. You also, for some reason, the printing has read this way on like every single page. Like, we didn't know that. And that's a printing thing, but that's annoying. But Rurouni Kenshin follows the story of samurai during the sword ban, and as he meets different characters and a bunch of lore that I'm not necessarily get into. But the sexism and kind of pedophilic vibe is definitely in there. And then I read Volume 2 from May 24th. You see more of Kenshin being an anti-hero. You have some fat-shaming woman, which is, you know, great. And then objectifying women as prostitutes. So, yeah, let's just say, if you read the manga, it makes pretty good sense of why this guy is a criminal. So, yeah, I mean, watch the anime. This guy ain't getting royalties due. So, the anime definitely tones down all of the weird stuff a lot more. And it's much easier to enjoy without feeling weird. And obviously, it's an adaptation. It's not a direct retelling of it anyways. So, they're able to make it their own thing. So if you want the cool story of a samurai, watch the anime. I have not seen the live action movies, but I've heard they're not actually bad. So maybe watch those too. I don't know. I don't recommend reading the books or anything by this author. I haven't read anything else, but you get the point. And then I read Storm Siren by Nariie from May 24th to May 30th. This is a reread. I read this in elementary school forever ago, and I was thinking of getting rid of it, so I just reread it for that purpose, to get rid of it. And when I say get rid of, not necessarily for Rurouni Kenshin's sake, but for like Deliverance and those other ones, I mean like take it to a used bookstore and stuff like that. So I don't trash books unless if they're like falling apart. But yeah, so I mean, I don't remember hating this book, but I also didn't remember particularly loving it, which is why I knew I kind of want to get rid of it. But it's a lot worse than I remember. You're kind of thrown into this fantasy world without any, like, so I have trashed information and lore dumping in part 1 of May, but there is a point where you need some context to the world, and you won't get any here. It's just, here you go. You have a lot of lack of care for the characters and their stories too. It kind of feels like we start giving them a story and then kind of just toss it away a little bit. You have not great romance development. It's really not great. The pacing is all over the place, and then a lot of the writing is very much on the nose. Kind of the point where you can tell it was written for another audience, and I just don't believe in dumbing down things for kids. Like, you can still have good writing and good stories and it being age appropriate and reading level appropriate for a kid. It doesn't have to be bad, you know? Take like Teen Titans, the original TV series. Nothing is dumbed down, but is written for to be available to a kid's audience, but still a really good story. I don't know. And you also have like a really meaningless death at the end. You're just like, wow, great. This is great. Everything's fine. Gonna take a little bit more tea break, and then I think we are almost done. We only have one more book, so. And the last book we have, I get to also not trash. And that is Heartstopper Volume 3 by Oseman. I read from May 24th to May 28th, and again it's a reread because I've read December. But I've talked about the series before, so it's continuing the story of Nick and Charlie. You have some apologies from friends that can come out and be a little bit more supportive than previously. You have Nick's awful relationship with his brother, which we all hate. We all hate him. You have the Paris trip. You have Charlie's eating disorder coming a little bit more to light. It's definitely insinuating earlier on, but you see that more and more talked about. You have Harry having a little bit of redemption. Not a lot, but he's learning. He's growing. You have some really cute Tao and Elle moments. You have Further coming out, and you have the teachers get a little bit of side plot in this too. That's really cute to see. But it's a great story, and it covers a lot of what season 2 of Heartstopper will show pretty soon. It might be out by the time this video is released because I'm that late behind filming, but it's good. And that's all I have, I believe, for May. I'll take a quick look at Carrie's really fast. Oh yeah, okay, where's... I did miss something. So where is it? See, this is why I checked, because I messed up with, here we go. So I messed up with Princess and the Frog, and I was about to mess up with another Jenni James fairy tale book. And this is Rapunzel. I read from April 18th to May 1st. You have I already talked about this? No, okay, whatever. If I have, then I'm repeating information. But it's a cute book, so I guess I'll repeat information need be. Rapunzel and the prince are childhood friends. I feel like I might be losing my mind, but it's fine. It's okay. They're childhood friends, and when the princess meets one of those milestone ages, she is there in her party. I think it's like 16. And then her childhood friend is supposed to be returning as he's been out for schooling, I believe. And then the evil witch comes back to take Rapunzel, and then you have the prince who comes back and having to handle all of the BS that the witch did. Now, you have the parents of Rapunzel in this book are terrible. It is not great. Rapunzel definitely suffers some mental health problems while she's locked up, which definitely makes sense. That is not something that I've ever seen in a Rapunzel story before. So that's nice to kind of get into. And there's some nods to Princess and the Frog, which are really cute. The princess adopted royalty within the story, and then here is like a little bit, you can tell, inspired by Tangled. Now, I'm not sure if it was made before or after. I'm pretty sure it's after. I can check right now. But 2014. Yeah. But overall, it's still really cute. I am pretty sure I've talked about this before, but it's cute. It's good. And that's all I got for May. So, I'll see you guys later. Bye!